Hello, 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 all. Welcome to the Let's Get Blunt podcast, where we roll up something sweet, pull up a seat, and get blunt about our healing. Today we have Christina Drawdy, but before I let her introduce herself, today, of course, we're being sponsored by Golden Earth Botanics, and today it is the Peace of Mind blend, and all the packaging looks like tarot cards. That's why I love it, and they feel like so collectible. So we're featuring the Peace of Mind blend today, and so I will pass it over to Christina, and you can introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm not sure what to say. I'm Christina Drawdy. I am the founder of mouthybroad.co, which is my fabulous, funny, and sometimes not suitable for work sticker brand. I love to make stickers that will make people think or smile or laugh or feel seen. A lot of them make people feel seen is what I hear. Yeah, and that's what I do, and I'm doing it high every day. I make it a habit to smoke before I draw every single time.
It finally dropped in what this is going to be about. I
Good.
told you guys that these are really on the fly conversations, and I had no clue what this is going to be about, and it finally dropped in, at least the starting point, right? What initiated you starting Mouthy Broad? Because I know it was pivotal, but I don't know the specifics. Like, what prompted you this is what I'm going to do?
So initially, work was slow at the very, very beginning of the pandemic 3 years ago. The brand idea was born 3 years ago, even though the store isn't quite that old. And I was redecorating my office and I couldn't find any art that I wanted, that I liked. So I was like, well, screw it, I'll just make my own. So I did, and I posted it online, and people were like, oh my gosh, I love it. Do you sell it? So, and it initially started out as me listing art prints on Etsy, and art prints didn't do that well. I don't even have them up anymore, but I'm thinking about bringing them back. But anyways, I was like, what am I going to do? What can I do with all this art that I had then created? And I thought, stickers. So I made stickers and they blew up. Like it just blew up and kept snowballing and snowballing. And we're still growing rapidly. But back in the beginning, I was not making the same kind of stickers. I was making cute stickers. I was making animal stickers, like motivational things. I wasn't really pushing the limit of what society will allow or won't. And honestly, that was the summer, the spring of George Floyd. And that, and I'm like, fuck. How many people can sit there and watch this happen? Why isn't anybody doing anything? And and that's when I drew the anti-racist protest sticker, where people are like, it's arms holding up signs. And then it just started to kind of go from there to say all the things that people are thinking but not saying, and make my stickers stand for something, make them mean something, and put a portion of the sales back into the communities that they are representing. So yeah, that's where it was born from.
Was there ever a point that you wanted to stop? Did it ever get overwhelming for you that you were just like, whether it was overwhelming because you just didn't have all the pieces? Because I'm sure it, like you stated, it's not what you originally set out to do.
Right.
Was like, was there ever a point that you're like, this just might not work and I'm not
Yeah,
just
all the time. All the time. I will be like, is it my place as a white woman to be saying these things? It's it's a weird position. And I grew up with a blended family, and
Mhm.
so my cousins are people of color, and I grew up living in their household because my own parents weren't able to raise me for a period of time. So I'm getting
Mhm.
raised by a strong, proud Black woman. I'm 15, 16, actually like 14 to 16. And I'm like, man, I don't know how she would feel. She's passed, unfortunately, when we were quite young. But
Mhm.
I always wonder, like, would she be proud of me, or would she be like, girl, you need to shut the fuck up? I don't know. But yeah, it gets to be like, and then I'm like, okay, I don't want to just only make political stuff or
Mhm.
be making things for a cause, but damn, our society isn't really helping. Everything that keeps happening is like, lately I've been putting out trans stickers because of all of the anti-trans things going on. And
Right.
so it's like this pop culture, what's happening, things that are trending is a lot of what I make my stickers about. And I guess when we run out of racism and sexism and all of the things that we're fighting against, whenever that gets solved, I guess that's when I'll have to come up with a new idea.
I would say you kind of have some job security there. Just going
Yeah,
by past history, just a little bit of job
a
security.
little bit, a little.
So it has exploded in such a way that is beyond what you thought,
uh
right?
Beyond, so far beyond. We and it was doing really, the retail was really busy. It was growing and growing and growing. And then I discovered wholesale. And I'm like, oh, so I could get orders of $1,000 instead of orders of $10. That sounds good. Let's try that for a while. And
Right.
wholesale really, it took a bit. It didn't happen right away, but it took off like crazy. And I would say we've been doing wholesale for about a year and a half. We're in 542 maybe stores across the world.
Yay.
I can't even tell you all the places because it's they're everywhere. They're where you live. They're where I live. They're everywhere.
Mhm.
I get these messages from the people who bought them, like, that they mean so much, especially to the kids, because I have a lot of like protect trans kids, or
Mhm.
I have a dead name like tombstone sticker, and somebody bought that recently and sent me a message that her son was like so excited and so thankful to have that
Mhm.
like exist in the world. And if you look, there's really not a lot of art or stickers or anything that's for marginalized and minority groups.
Mhm. And so this is where the conversation is going to get a little deeper because
Okay.
Spirit is dropping and they're going to ask you this question. I don't know what it's in reference to, right?
Yeah.
Um, so their question is, and so what I'm going to explain to the people watching is I'm about to start full body channeling. So I probably will speak in third person because I'm channeling. The person speaking isn't me, it's just my physical body. Um, so that may happen just as an explanation, nothing weird is going to happen other than, you know, my eyes might shift or my face might morph a bit. But other than that's weird that I don't even think that's weird. But anyway, I'm like, nothing weird's going to happen. And then with like a ton of weird shit. Anyway, the conversation is going to get a little bit deeper, but it's spirit talking. And they're saying, why, based on their past performance for you, why are you so reluctant to move in assignment? There's something right now that's been nudging and nudging at you that you're so unsure of, that it's been backburnered, I want to say about 4 to 6 months, because it looks like you want to systemize it or strategize it. And so it's just sitting.
Yeah.
What is that?
Fear of, like, all of a sudden nobody likes my stickers anymore, which realistically I know is not going to happen, but it's fear of failure, really. Fear of failure, fear of it not working out. I have I have been wanting to structure and organize and scale and get bigger equipment, and it's a big investment, and I'm afraid. Like, I look at my numbers of sales and I wonder, like, do other companies just like guess what their future sales will be based on the past? What if it's not the same? What if it's not that, and then you can't afford to pay for the things that you need to pay for? So it's just, I was thinking about this earlier, like, I stumbled into this business and this success. I don't have a business degree. I was a website designer. I don't know about all of the things. And to be honest, I definitely wasn't legit set up from the beginning with all of the, you know, proper paperwork and organization and all of that. So now I have to backtrack it and fix stuff, but it's a fear-based thing for sure.
So, but again, if you got this far without being in control, like you said, you got this far by not being in control.
Yeah.
What's stopping you from continuing on? Like, you're already in it.
Yeah.
And so you've been going this way by spirit and spirit alone, or faith and faith alone, however you want to phrase it. You've come all this way. What made you be like, whoa, now I want control back?
That's a really good question. I think I struggle with wanting control always, but I did let go. I think in bits and pieces. And it's funny because the things that I thought were gonna work or be great weren't necessarily the ones that were. And it was the ones that I was like questioning and second guessing on. Well, oh, is this too much? Maybe I shouldn't put this out there. And those, like, this one in particular, I almost didn't release it, and I released it so far past the point. So this sticker was drawn after the children were killed at that school in Uvalde, Texas. And it says, I'll show it to you, but it says America, land of gun care and health control. And it's a gun.
Yeah.
I was like, is this too much? People are going to be so offended. I live in a rural area. So there's a lot of pro-gun people here. And I already have protect kids, not guns on my vehicle. I get a lot of looks. But I put it out and people were buying it up like crazy.
So again, the track record states when you're in control, it stalls.
Yeah, like with the art prints, that was my idea.
Exactly. And when you relinquish the control,
Yeah.
it's thriving,
Yeah.
right? And so their message to you is we have to stop the cycle that you enter, because it's like it has to do with not enoughness, but not quite. It feels like you took ownership of something before that felt really bad, but you didn't have control over it. Like maybe on paper it was you, but it was someone else who really fucked it up, but you took on everything for it. So now it's like, if I'm going to fail, I need to be responsible for the failure and not have other people up underneath of me. So you probably also are scared to delegate
I
anything to
am.
anybody, you know.
I've had so many occasions where I hire somebody to do something and it gets fucked up and it doesn't affect them like it affects me. I'm the one who, at the end of the day, it's my business. It was my choice. I take the loss, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
What was the first instance? Do you remember? Like the first instance, even if it's childhood, high school, like, because I used to hate group assignments for that fucking reason. Because I would always end up doing all the work myself because everybody seems to be not as on it. So,
I'll have to think about that for a second.
because it feels like you get triggered back into that point.
Yeah.
Like something happens that then causes you to clamor for control. And I don't know whether if it could be success happening too rapidly. Like it doesn't have to be anything negative, but it's triggering to the point where you're like, I need to be able to control how fast or how slow this shit is moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just talking about this in therapy. When I was little, I went on this ride at Disney and literally spun out of control. I was too little to be on it, I think, but it was one of those big water slide things where you're supposed to stay laying down.
Yeah.
I sat up and started spinning. And so I think I tie fun and excitement and great things with fear of losing control completely.
Okay. Yeah, we got to release that.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you feel me, that's just me. Like if you feel something in your chest, that's me, because it's stopping you from growing.
Yeah.
Like with every growth spurt that you have a period of trial afterwards.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be in your business. It could be your personal life takes a shit show. Every time you spike in your business or you do in good numbers, something goes wrong to undermine that feeling of loss of control. And I tie that to like orgasming, right? It's the same level of loss of control, right? To reach that level of orgasm, sometimes you have to relax
Right.
into it. You're scared of relaxing into it.
Definitely.
And so I'm releasing it now. So if you use the bathroom a lot, it's fine. You don't have a UTI. Everybody thinks they do, but it's just, no, you gotta come out. It's gotta come out. And so this may also be a personal question. When's the last time you orgasm? Do you orgasm regularly, or is that hard for you to do?
To be honest, I usually do regularly, but lately it's been hard.
Okay. What are you struggling with in your business that maybe you're avoiding to do? Because on the other side, we know there's another growth. So it's like you're preemptively avoiding that sensation. Again, because when you have fun, something also goes fucking wrong. So now you've tied that to also personal turmoil. So it's like, I want my business to stay at least level, because whenever it does spike, some shit over here goes fucked up. Like, I think subconsciously you hold back in your business.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement, because it's very true that when I have my highest highs, you know, business wise, I'm also experiencing the lowest lows personally. And it shows, and then my business will kind of come to a halt also, because my personal life can't maintain it when I'm going through such difficult things. For example, when I had a really high, it was my highest month to date at that time, and my son cut himself, tried to harm himself. And that became like my lowest. And then you could look at my spreadsheets and you can see it's up, 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 and then it's a massive drop down. I lost control.
I also believe that, are you used to chaos? Because I also believe that when things aren't chaotic, that brings you a lot of anxiety.
It does. It's like, it's almost like I'm bored.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna release all that. Yeah, we're gonna release all that too. And I get it, because like, peace looks like boredom, but we pray for peace and we get it, and then we're just like, what the fuck is this? I'm bored.
Yeah.
Right. And then we start bringing chaos back in, and it's not like a victim blame kind of thing, but your energy, I would say, what you believe always has a way of manifesting in truth for us.
Yeah.
Because we look for it, right? If I believe that, all female friends are shady or whatever, I'm actually going to look for behavior I think is shady. And some of the shit that she might do may not be shady, but since I'm looking for it, I'm going to see it. Right. And I think sometimes it's looking for the next shoe to drop, that then it's just like, okay, since you want it, here you go. And I want you to start examining when that low hits you, where can you find the dopamine other than chaos of fixing things?
Yeah.
Because you're a fixer.
I am.
And if things are going smoothly, you can't fix shit. And so now I feel unworthy. Right? But also, when we're in the middle of fixing shit, it's just shredding our energy, our body, like, to pieces.
Yeah.
Essentially, like our spirit, because it's like, it's not good shit to be going through, and it's not actually sharpening us, but we continue to seek out these circumstances because we don't know any other way to exist.
Right.
And so when we get confronted with our existence and who we think we are, we're always going to side on who we know ourselves to be.
Yeah.
And then when things come contradictory to that, we either turn tail or we sit there and we fight it. And so I'm saying, don't fight the evolution, because you're actively healing so that your life can be calm, serene, graceful, easeful, happy. You want to just exist and be, but you don't know how to just exist and be.
That's the damn truth right there. How to just be. I'm constantly, and I'm constantly looking for the next dopamine hit, the next thing to do to keep me busy, to distract me, for whatever I don't want to think about, of course.
Right.
And on top of that, I do have ADHD. So
Right.
it's chaos. And I'm always looking for the next thing. What's going on? What can I do? Who can I help? What can I fix? I don't know. I'm very bad at just being, and I'm going on vacation soon.
Okay, that's good. Because I was like, what if we practice? What if
Yeah.
we practice existing?
I am,
But not with the purpose of being perceived, because we're business owners. We do a lot of postings for people to see us.
yes.
But what if we don't? Like your business is doing good. You can actually take a break
Yeah.
and only post what you need to post and then get off. You don't have to consume
Right.
to be able to run your business.
No.
Right.
I will be able to completely disconnect and just post what I want to post. Technically.
Technically. But also when you're doing that, I want you to see what comes up, because I want you to have a couple of days even beforehand and on the back end of where you're not like actively engaged, because I want you to see what comes up in your body when rest is your only option.
So let me make this a little deeper. Out of nowhere, maybe a week, maybe two, I don't know, somewhere between 1 and 2 weeks ago, I had the idea that I should message my father on Facebook and see if he would respond. And he did. And we've been chatting, and I'm going to be seeing him on my vacation. And I haven't seen him for 15 years.
Oh.
And up until our Facebook messages, I hadn't spoken to him in 15 years either. So I'm going to be in the situation where I'm going to want to kind of dissociate and avoid feelings and things. And I'm going to try to not allow myself to do that. I'm not going to allow myself to just go and get lost in work.
Yeah. I'm one who intellectualizes her feelings, right? Because once I know why I'm feeling a certain way, I don't have to feel it anymore. We could be done with it. We can move the fuck on, right? But that's not always healthy. And so what you're navigating, or what you will be navigating, will be bringing up a lot of shit. And I want you to actually heal it in the moment instead of running, because it's still going to be there regardless, right?
Yeah.
If you don't heal it. So I want you to be able to feel those feelings in the moment. If you are going to be near water, put your feet in the water and just talk to yourself about what's coming up, what you need to release, and because it's going to bring up a lot of shit. And it's okay. It's 15 years of whatever, right?
I feel like I'm
okay. You're gonna feel shit, and it's okay that you do.
I feel like I'm meeting him all over again, but this time I'm 40, and it's weird. It's like I'm getting to know him oh, you're retired. That's cool. What do you do with your time now? How's family? And it's like re-meeting my family because of the no contact for so long. We're all really different people. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I'm willing to try.
Yeah. I said what's coming up for me, and what I hear for you is you don't have to be strong in this situation. I think you're so used to being the person that has to keep everything together, or else it just fucking fall apart, that you don't have the luxury all the time of processing your emotions real time.
That is
but you can take your time in this one, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to rush through the processing because it's just you, right? Of course, him, but mostly the fallout or whatever is transpiring is you in that moment. It's not
Right.
affecting too much of anything else. So allow yourself to actually process what this means, how you want to navigate and move forward. It's gonna usher you into a deeper level of healing. Um, and that's gonna, you get quiet during those times. So if you want, I think you've been feeling the pull to get offline, but you don't know how to get offline. Right? And same.
Yeah.
Same. I would say every day just try to do a little bit more and more and say, do you really need to pick up your phone right now? Like, what are you going to do? And for me, I ask myself, are you going to scroll or are you posting something? Or are you researching something? If it's not posting or researching, I said, then put it down, turn on something else. Like you could turn on the TV. So like, I'm not saying you don't have to be entertained, but for whatever reason, the association with the phone in this season is like what they're really pushing for. And a lot of spiritually attuned individuals are feeling that slow downness. I told my mom it feels like reliving the 90s all over again, but with technology.
Wow.
Right? That's what it feels like. It feels real reminiscent of community based things and being outside and around other people and not masquerading and putting on a show, essentially, that we do online. It feels like, if you remember the 90s, that it's a rawness. The 90s was just what it was. It was just raw. You were who you were in the 90s, and you didn't care, right? That was like the epitome with it. We are the Gen Xers, right? The Gen Xers, and then some of the millennials or whatever. But the 90s was that moment where authenticity to your beingness kind of like really flourished, and created the foundation of where we are today, where our children are free. I know we had this discussion that my child is real free. And sometimes I got to bring her back a little bit. But I think we're going back to that time of that slower paced life. So don't be afraid to lean into that and what that looks like for you. That doesn't mean things have to stop or your business has to slow down. It means creating something to where your business isn't your identity. You start rebuilding your identity outside of your accomplishments in your business. Because now it's at a point where you could kind of stabilize and then go back and heal. Does all that make sense?
It does. And it's funny that you say that, because I really do take on the identity of my business, of the brand and the success. And I had somebody ask me if I like the anonymity of it, because my brand isn't me. It's its own entity. And I'm just kind of writing as if it was me. I mean, I am the Mouthy Broad, but my name and my picture are not on the website. They're not. It's the Mouthy Broad is the brand, because I want other women and other folks to
self-identify with the work.
Identify with it. Yes. Like, you can be a Mouthy Broad too. Speak up. Your voice is kind of the motto there. But you're right. I need to learn to let go. My business right now is at a place where it can essentially run without me. And it will be just fine if I go on vacation, even though my anxiety is like, no.
Right.
But it can run without me because I'm not the one making the products anymore. I'm not the one doing the production anymore. I have an employee for that. So aside from coming up with new designs and things like that, it just keeps on going. And
I like it. I like it. So this will be trust.
I need to remember to trust that and to let go, because even if I do let go, the sales are still going to come in. Everything's still going to go the way that it's going.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really scary for me. And like, we're kind of at a place where, without either increasing the equipment or adding a bigger space and more employees, we can't scale any more than where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the business part where I'm holding myself back, because I'm afraid if I invest into bigger equipment, what if I don't have enough orders to sustain that?
So what we give over to the universe is all of that.
Yeah.
Right? Because we didn't build this.
No.
Right? They did.
Yeah.
So if you're saying, okay, it's time to scale, it's time to move up, or demand needs something, then say, hey, you guys, we need equipment.
Yeah.
You know, and then not control what that looks like, because right now I just see a balance sheet in front of you, so you're like moving this and moving that and trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
When spirit can say, okay, here's $20,000 to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And you don't have to move these pieces or take away from anything that's currently standing.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes we try to figure out our way forward, and it does us a disservice because we're trying to navigate somewhere we've never been before.
Yeah.
And so we could take in context clues, right? But that's like fumbling in the dark when we can just allow the natural order of it to happen, the same way you got where you are, right? The same way you got the success that you have, right?
I really let go and just held my faith for the first year of Mouth Abroad, because I invested my personal savings into the business. Didn't make a profit, the first year at all, just constantly paying out expense after expense. But I knew that it would be something great if I just kept investing long enough.
Move in alignment.
Yeah.
Because there was something back here that was just like, you can't stop. Like for me with this, I've quit a million times.
Yeah.
Like I've been doing spirituality for like 10 years now. I've quit a million times.
Yeah.
But there's something that won't let me fully release, because I am queen of compartmentalizing. Once I decide I'm done, that's it. You can't change my mind. You can't talk me out of it. Fuck it. Fuck you. Right? I'm over it. I am good at compartmentalizing like that. But some reason, me working in this mission and this purpose, I can't ever just quit. I've taken sabbaticals.
Right.
I've gotten quiet, set with spirit. I've done a lot of things, but I've never released it fully. I've always had a client. Even when I'm not talking online, I've always had some form of client somewhere, me continually doing the spirit work. That feels like what this is for you. But I also think there's a fusion that's going to be happening really soon with some old shit that you may used to have done, and fusing this to where it feels instructional, like an academy or a school or something. So keep moving and keep letting it align. And I think it'll be great. And I think that's the overall message for people here today, is release the control so that God can actually give you what you've been praying for. So often we pray, but then we need it to look a certain way. So while things are shifting and moving, we're attempting to mold it to be something that
Yeah.
makes sense up here. But I keep telling people miracles aren't rational, right?
Yeah.
That miracles just aren't in and of itself. The word miracle cannot be a rational, logical thing, or it wouldn't be a miracle, right? If we are praying for a miracle at someone's bedside, we're not telling God, run this test,
Right.
do this. We're saying we've exhausted everything within our personal power. I need you to make a way.
Yeah.
And in that is a bit of surrender, a lot of surrender, right? And then something happens, something weird. The doctor that wasn't supposed to be there today is now there today, and he looked at the chart and he's doing this and he's doing that, and you got your individual. But we have to allow it. What's to happen if the doctor that wasn't supposed to come in there, you're like, you're not the doctor that's supposed to see her. I don't want any of a doctor to see her, right? That's you controlling what you want it to look like because you think the other doctor is the saving grace, right?
Right.
And not knowing that God is sending you the answer and is standing right in front of you. So I say, don't turn away God's blessing because it doesn't look like what you expected the package to look like. Because there's a lot of blessings coming your way that on its surface may not look like what you want it to.
Yeah.
It may not be the version that you want it to be, but also that's why Spirit kept telling you, look at your past history, because everything that you thought would be successful wasn't. And everything that you then, when you leaned into the shift, flourished. So they're saying, if you want logic, look at past history and go by that, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of blessings. I feel as though you can double your income from last year to this year.
That'd be
And so I know, and it's gonna happen in the most auspicious way. But it's gonna come out of left field. And so I said, just keep your heart open. Keep moving, keep evolving, and keep letting God work for you. God, Spirit, Universe, you guys got it by now, right?
Yeah.
Let that work for you. And so this is where we're going to end off. For those who are on Patreon, you get like an extended interview where we get probably a little bit more detailed, or we kiki just a little bit more. And you get that in the Patreon. The Patreon link is in the description box. You also get a 15% off Golden Earth Botanics as a Patreon member. And there are other packages in there. We also do yoga. We have first Tuesdays coming up for April's yoga. And so get in there. We're building a community of people who want to heal and get honest about their healing. Okay. All right, my loves. It's been a good one. Bye.